Today I will discuss about this introduction of rural development, concept of development and major issues of development and indicators of development and theories of development I will discuss. So here I will discuss what is, first of all we will discuss about this human development. It is related to the development. What is human development? People are the real wealth of the nation. Actually where people are staying in that particular country, they are the wealth of that particular nation, how much developed they are. The basic object of this development is to create enabling environment for people to enjoy long, healthy and creative lives. This way of looking at the human development is not only really new. Aristotle also telling about the human development, the difference between a good political arrangement and a bad one in terms of its success and failure in the facilitating people ability to lead flourishing life. So human being as the real end of the all activities. Human beings are basically end of the all activities was recurring theme in the writings of the most of the clearly philosophers. So Immanuel Kant also observed about that. So he was telling, so act as treat humanity, whether in their own person on in that of any other, in every case, and never is means only. So the same motivating concern can be found in the writings of the early leaders of quantification in economics. William Patty, Gregory King and Francois Queeny and Antoine Lavoisier and Joseph Lagrange, the grandparent of GNP and GDP. It is also clear in the writings of leading political economists like Adam Smith and David Ricardo and Robert Malthus, Karl Marx and John Stuart Mills. They are telling that human development is a process of enlarging people's choice. In the principle, these choice can be infinite and change over time, but at all levels of the development, the three essential ones are for people to lead a long and healthy life, to acquire knowledge, and to have access to resources needed for decent standard of living. So what is the development? Actually these thinkers are telling about the development that people should have the good things for their living standard. Their standard should maintain by these people, those who are living. Certain facility must be provided by our government or by our system. So if these essential choices are not available, many other opportunities remains inaccessible, but the human development does not end there. So additional choice, highly valued by many people, range from the political, economic and social freedom of opportunity for being creative and productive and enjoying personal self-respect and guaranteed human rights. So human development has two sides. What are these two sides? The formation of human capital capabilities such as improved health, knowledge and skills, and the use people make of their acquired capabilities for leisure, productive purposes, or being active in cultural, social and political affairs. Now come to the concept of the development. What is this concept of the development? Development is basically one of the most contested concept, as there have been a number of battles to capture its meaning. So in the contemporary age, what is development? Development has become shapeless word denoting concept of no content. In contemporary world, this concept of development is having no content, which functions to legitimize planned intervention in the name of the higher voluntarily goal. So development is basically value laden and subjective concept with different definition as given by different professionals. So development means basic all information and opening up something which is latent, and with people it means opening up, unfolding their potential power. So development is just change that is desirable. Development is desirable, but since what is desirable at particular time, at particular time what is required, this we have to see. Then place and particular culture or many not be desirable at other places or at other time in the same place and the same cultural setting. It is impossible to think of universally acceptable definitions of the development. So development in the given society as set of the desirable social objective which society seeks to achieve. So development is basically multi-dimensional process. It is having so many dimensions, and process development is not synonymous with the growth. Unlike the former, the latter does not consider distribution of progress among members of the society. So this development is basically involve multiple dimensions, including economic, dimension, social dimension, political dimension, institutional, cultural, environment, and the technological aspect. So when we are talking about the development, there must be the development like economic development must be there, social development, there must be the development in the society, the political development should also be there, then institution, new institution which are helpful for providing the knowledge or providing the developmental aspect to the various citizens, such things must be there. Then now you see the growth is also important aspect of this development. So the growth can be seen as the essential ingredient of the development. So growth, how much that society or that country is developing, how much growth is there, and the development will be based on that particular growth. So the growth can be seen as the essential ingredient of the development, but not necessarily imply the later. So in fact there must be a surplus production in the economy that would have a significant implications on the life of the people and beyond the consumptions. However, growth alone does not seems to be sufficient unless the development. This has been captured by Handy adding up all financial transactions by the companies and institutions in the country and dividing it by the number of the people in a society. Does not tell you how comfortably they are. Hence, it would not be wrong to quote Fernando Cardoso, who noted that obliges us not to ignore efficiency, but for many development be human, we must go beyond the logic of the economics. So other writers notes that development always entail looking at their worlds in the terms of what they lack and obstruct the wealth of indigenous alternatives. Now you come to the age of 1960s. The thinkers of 1960s conceived that development as a modernization. They are talking about or telling about this development. Development is basically modernization. It was believed that a country could achieve a higher economic growth through industrialization, urbanization and increased use of the technology and machinery. So they are thinking, these thinkers basically asserted that the development developing countries must transform their weak and culturally backward society to become developed like the Western society. The main cause hence of the development was alleged to the backward culture of the society in the developing world. So they are talking that why this developing world is backward, due to the society is backward, that is not developed like European society and other developed society. So the solution to the development was supposed to be casting of their culture, which was assumed to be a fantastic. So by the end of 1970, it's not unclear that the economic growth of modernization as a model had failed to help the underdeveloped countries achieve development. So the majority of their people were still living in poverty and illiteracy. In most cases, the growth where it happened benefited only a small percentage of the population who normally resides in the urban areas, which the bulk of the people had actually become poorer. So here the small group of the people is more developed and the majority of the people is underdeveloped and they are poor. In that condition also the concept of the development will not be clear, and the few people, if development means the entire society must be developed. So overall lack of success, the modernization development perspective has had some benefit for the society it was proposed. Advanced technologies and such as the use of machinery for the transportation and agriculture, including the modern farming technology, are only the few to mention. The treating disease, the effects of the modern medicines and the big hospitals in the urban areas can easily be observed. So at the social level, the introduction of the democratic political culture, civil society structures and the expansion of the mass media could be attributed to the modernization mode. Now you come to the 1980s, an alternative development approach came to the scene of the scholarly what and the political debate. Various United Nations development began recognizing that there is something terribly wrong with the development model that looked only the economic growth. So economic growth appeared to be poor indicator of the development, because you cannot consider that if a country is having good economic growth, that may be the more developed. It is not clear. So because it does not show the distribution of the wealth, so equal distribution of the wealth is not there in that condition. It also fails to identify the impact of this development, so on their social issues. So it is fail on that particular social issue also, such as the health, education and the quality of the life, so called the alternative development, otherwise known as the human development approach, is characterized by its people centeredness, for its recognizes the well-being of the people. So now you come to the 20th century. 20th century, what is the condition of that particular development especially in third world, has virtually become saturated. In third world it has been saturated, yet the battle is not over. However, there is an incredible gravitation to the understanding of the development as a bottom up phenomenon than top down. Among the other things, it has come to the mean a multi-dimensional social change oriented usually towards qualitative betterment of giving community as an advance of the well-being of the society than mere GDP per capita growth, which end to the technical than substantive, then come to the purpose and element of the now come to the this purpose and element of the development. What are these elements of the development? First concern is to define the whole purpose of the development. This would not be the develop things but to develop man. So the human beings development is more important. How human beings are getting the development? So human beings have basic need, like every human being is having the basic need, like food, like shelter, then clothing, health and education. Any process of growth that does not lead to fulfillment of these needs, any growth is not fulfilling these needs, even worse, disrupt them, is a travesty of the ideas of the development. Hence, the satisfying the basic needs of the poor people be the core of the development process. So moreover, the fundamental aim of the world community should be achieve a life of dignity and well-being for all world citizens. So there must be the development of all the people. So development beginning about the equilibrium to some more needed objective, satisfactory new equilibrium. So development is the process of improvement with the respect to set of the values. So there must be the overall development. There must be economic development, social development, political development, all dimensional development must be there. So poverty must be removed absolutely. So according to the basic elements of the development are the following. These are the basic element of the development. You see, the first element, removal of inequality and the poverty. We have to remove the inequality. There will not be inequality among the citizen. One is very rich, one is very poor. So we must remove the poverty. Then you come to the increase in material welfare of the people. We have to increase the welfare of the people, material welfare of the people. Increasing in social well-being. Every citizen's social well-being we must increase, like we must increase education level, health facility, housings. Then equitable distribution of the gain of the development among the different groups of the people in the region or the country we must increase. And the enhancement in the technology, we should increase the technology also. Enhancement, development, we should do the capacity to produce the wider range of the goods and services in the economy, leading to the better quality of life. So we should develop our society nicely, so quality of life will also be increased. Building institutional structures which permit participation in decision making at all levels. We have to increase the participation of the people also in governance and other things also. The participation of the people only we can increase, then there is a development in the citizens' life. Overall development is there. Equalization of opportunity for the development and the removal of disparities. So inequality we have to finish. So thank you very much. This